Okay, for these larger ones, we can actually use a method that we'll use later on, and that's probably what you'll want to end up doing. But you can factor these. Let's just take a look real quick. So if we go in y equals, and we set this up, 6x squared plus 13x minus 5, and we go into the graph. Let's go ahead and set this back up again. So zoom, we'll do standard, which is 6. I'll make my graph normal again. Now if you notice on here, it doesn't come out evenly. So that's the problem with this one, is it doesn't come out evenly. So how do we handle that? So if we go into the table, problem is the 0 is never really going to happen. It's somewhere between 0 and 1. And then the other one is somewhere between -2 and -3. There is another way we can do this. We can go back into the graph. And the calculator actually does have a function which is to find the 0. So you go second, calculate, which is here over the trace. And, second, calculate. And you want to find the zeros. So 2. Now this asks you some funny little questions here. It asks you for the left bound, and then it's going to ask for the right bound. So it doesn't know which 0 we want. So we got to tell it which one we want. So I'm going to tell it I want this one first. So I got to pick some number over here. So I can go -10. And then I need the right bound. I need some number in between these two. So I'm just going to say -1 looks like it's between those two. And enter again. And it tells me that my 0 is 2.5, -2.5. And then I have to find the other one. So I can go into y equals calculate 0. Again, the only tricky thing about this is figuring out this left bound and right bound thing. So I want this 0, so I want something in here. So I'm going to do -1 again. I can tell that that's between. And then right bound, something over here. So I'm just going to do 10. And it's going to tell me that it's 0.333333, which we know is 1/3. 0.333333. Those are my two zeros, and you could just do that. So, do we remember how to factor this? So, what we do, remember, if we multiply the first one times the last one. So I have -30. So I want factors of 30 that when I subtract them equal 13. So we have 1 and 30, 2 and 15, and 3 and 10. So when we subtract those, we get 13. So we go 6x squared. I need the 15 to be bigger, so I get positive 13, plus 15x minus 2x minus 5. So what can I factor out of the first two? I can take out a 3x. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. Take one of the x's away. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And then, remember, all I need to do is what do I need to take out of -2 to get it to be positive 2? So it's just -1. 2x minus 2x plus 5. That will just be the same as that. And then we have 3x minus 1 equals 2x plus 5. Okay, we're not done yet. We have one more step to do. So now what we need to do is we need to find out what is going to make each of these terms 0? So what I have to do, since it's not as obvious now, is I have to set that equal to 0 and then solve this equation for x. So add 1 to both sides, divide both sides by 3, and I get x equals 1/3, or 0.333 repeating. And I have to set this equal to 0. 0 equals 2x plus 5. So (2x equals to -5). Divide both sides by 2, and x equals -5/2, which is the same as, if you divide this in the calculator, it's -2.5. So, although this method here on the calculator is a little bit confusing to figure out where these zeros are, it's a lot easier than doing all of this. So let's take a look at how to do this next one on the calculator. So we go into y equals 3x squared minus 23x plus 14. So we go into the graph, and we're looking for the two zeros. So calculate a 0 between somewhere over here and somewhere here. So the left bound, you could put 0, or I usually use -10. No reason, just I know it's over there somewhere. And then some number that's in here, so how about 1, 2, how about 3? And it will tell us our answer is 0.666, 0.666666, or 6 repeating, or we could round it to 0.67. Just remember, on a on a multiple choice test, you've got this decimal. They may give you the choice of 2/3, and you need to recognize that as 2/3, or you just need to divide this on the calculator to see what the decimal looks like. Okay? And where's this other one? This other one looks like it crosses pretty evenly. So we might be able to find that one just on the table. So can we find a 0 over here? We can. It's just 7. Now I'm going to show you one more time how to find it on the graph. So graph, we need to calculate a 0. So left bound, some number here, about 3. Right bound, some number over on the right, about 10. And it gives us the value of 7. Now you can actually use this method on all of these as well. It's just when it comes out evenly, you can normally just figure out what it is, or you can do it on the table. It's just when it doesn't come out evenly, when it's a decimal, you've got to use some other method because it's not going to show up on the table. So this method will actually work for all quadratics. Okay? You just solve it for 0. So like on this one, we would have to move this over here. So it would be plus 35 plus 35. We'd get x squared minus 12x plus 35. And then we just plug that into the calculator and find the two zeros, and that would be our solution. All right, that's it for this video.